For further analysis, we're joined now by Giorgio Cafiero. He is the CEO of Gulf State Analytics. Giorgio, thank you so much for being with us. So let's go instead to the peace talks now. What can you tell us about progress that is being made or seems to be being made there?
Yeah, it seems that many are cautiously optimistic about what could potentially be the outcome of the U.S. envoy Hochstein's visit to Beirut and now Israel, where he's speaking to Netanyahu and the Israeli leadership. It seems that this was the biggest push since this conflict began over a year ago, mindful of the fact that he was in Beirut for quite a bit of time, speaking with the parliament speaker, Berry, and other important Lebanese officials. It seems that the Biden administration definitely wants to see this succeed. And with the Lebanese parliament speaker negotiating on behalf of Hezbollah, there seems to be real potential for a breakthrough, a diplomatic breakthrough that can bring about a ceasefire. I think right now, obviously, the ball is in Netanyahu's court. And as everyone says, the devil's in the details. The main sticking issue right now seems to be the Israeli government's insistence on the so-called right to continue waging military operations in southern Lebanon and, frankly, throughout all of Lebanon against Hezbollah targets whenever Israel believes that doing so would serve the country's national security interests. Obviously, for Hezbollah, that's a complete non-starter. So I think that should be our biggest concern in terms of the stumbling block toward successful ceasefire negotiation.
Okay, and as you've just been talking, Giorgio, we're looking at live pictures of a recent airstrike that's just happened in Beirut. So, Hezbollah has said that it won't accept any truce that violates Lebanese sovereignty, while Israel says that any deal must still allow it to strike Lebanon. And while this is all going on, as we see, strikes continue. So is it your belief that the two parties will realistically be able to find middle ground?
Well, there's no doubt that the ongoing violence that you're sharing with your viewers right now dims the prospects. And at the same time, however, I think both sides realize that this destruction needs to come to an end. And on the Israeli side, there's obviously a determination to create conditions that will allow these tens of thousands of Israelis who had to evacuate northern Israel to be able to safely return to their homes. And obviously on the Lebanese side, there has been so much death, mayhem, and destruction. There is a real desire to see that finally come to an end. I do think, though, on the Lebanese side, there is quite a bit of skepticism, lack of trust toward the Americans, a belief that Hochstein came to Beirut with really a U.S. and Israeli proposal that would sort of be imposed on Lebanon, and one that would enable Israel to come across seeming strong and make it seem as though Israel is coming to the negotiations from a position of strength. A lot of skepticism toward the American-backed proposal, especially given all of this talk about Israel retaining a right to continue doing things that flagrantly violate the sovereignty of Lebanon. Again, I repeat, I think this is going to sort of be the main stumbling block. It is a little difficult for me to imagine Netanyahu making the necessary concessions on that front to get us to a point where a deal could be agreed upon by both sides. But I certainly hope that my skepticism is misplaced and that Hochstein's diplomatic efforts will lead to a successful diplomatic breakthrough. That's certainly something that would be very, very positive, but it remains to be seen whether or not we're going to have such a breakthrough.
Certainly something to watch in the coming days. Giorgio Cafiero, he is the CEO of Gulf State Analytics. Thank you so much for your analysis.